What's up guys, welcome back. Got a ton of stuff to get to today. Gonna finish off the roll cage, bang out the rear strut tower plates, finish off the spare tire delete panel, and I got a couple other surprises for you guys, so let's get to it. So, like I said, lots to get to today, but first, while we were gone, I had the back window taken out of the car. Now, there's a specific reason why I waited until now to do this and I didn't just get it done when the front windshield came out, but I'll tell you guys that in a little bit. I also went ahead and welded in the framing for the spare tire delete panel, and I even made the spare tire delete panel out of 20 gauge sheet metal. It's already been cut down to shape, and I dropped it off a friend to have 3 rows of bead lines put into the sheet metal. And what that's gonna do is just stiffen it up a little bit, prevent any vibration or rattling around, and it'll look a lot better than just a straight smooth panel. And another awesome thing, the box of everything I ordered from my laser cutter has finally come in. So let's bust this open and see what's inside. All right, so first up, these all zip tied together here like a key ring. So these are the top plates for the rear strut towers. Up here's a couple other brackets that I have designed for various things on the car. And these are some mounting brackets that I designed for the fuel cell. More on these later. And I had some spare gusset blanks designed for the roll cage because the kit only came with 2 gussets, and I wanted to add a couple more in, so these still need to be bent at 90 degrees to form a perfect triangle, and then these holes all dip will die out. More on that later. And lastly, the rear strut tower plate tops for the plating of the strut towers. So again, these are going to get welded around the entire perimeter of the strut tower, make it a little bit stronger, and then I've got the other top plates that'll get welded on top of here. So everything turned out good, everything looks awesome, time to weld it all in. Alright, first thing I want to start with is fitting the spare tire delete panel into the car. So like I said, I've already got the frame structures here. This is 1-inch square tubing already welded into place. So now I'm going to fit the sheet metal panel on top, tack it in all the way around, tack it in underneath to these square beams, and the spare tire delete panel will be finished. Okay, so the spare tire delete panel is all welded in, everything's all done. I quickly went over all the welds with a flat disc. That's all in. Now I'm going to move on to the rear strut tower plates. So here are the plates here, which were from the laser cutter, and I'll show you how these kind of fit into place. So this just drops in here, just like so, and then I'll obviously weld this all the way around the entire perimeter, and then the top plates will go on from there. So I'm going to quickly prepare these as they still have mill scale on them, so I'm going to quickly hit these up with a flat disc and then wipe everything down with acetone so we've got a good base to start welding. Alright, so I've got the plates both bolted in on both sides. This way it's all stays centered, nothing moves while I'm welding it. So I'm going to tack this in all the way around on both sides. Then I'm going to move on to finishing the rest of the roll cage, and then I'll finish all the final welding after everything's all tacked into place. Okay, now that the rear strut tower plates are all tacked into position, now I can finish off the back half of the roll cage. Now I've still got the top plates that I'm going to weld onto here, but I'm going to wait until the cage is fully in before I add those pieces in. So, time to finally get this cage finished. All right, got the entire back half of the cage all tacked in. Got your upper and lower stay bars, the rear diagonal bars, and the rear strut brace. Next thing I'm gonna do is tack in the main hoop diagonal bars and the main hoop Hans bar. Once that's all done, I can tack in the top plates for the rear strut towers. Got a couple more pieces to tack up here in the front, and that's gonna be it for tacking in the entire roll cage. At that point, I can move on to final welding. So, enough talking, time to get back to work. Alright, so as usual, I got carried away and started doing stuff without filming. So I'm using a tube notcher here, and for some reason the main hoop Hans bar didn't come pre-notched. I don't know why, I don't know if it's how it comes from the kit, but I'm using this tube notcher here to notch out both ends so it fits nicely up against the main hoop. So I'll show you guys how this works, and then I'm going to tack this into the car. Alright, now that all the roll cage tubes are all tacked into place, looks pretty good, we can move on to the rear strut tower plates. So once again, here is the design that I made, which is similar to the front strut towers, but there's a bit of an issue, and I knew this was going to be a problem from the beginning. And if you look here, when you go to put this into place, this tube right here is actually in the way, it's making contact. So what I need to do is modify this design just a little bit. So I've already gone ahead and drew a line here exactly where I need to trim before I can put this plate in. So I'm going to get this all cut up, tack it into place on the passenger strut tower, get the driver's side done, and we can move on to final welding after that. And there you have it. The roll cage is 100% tacked into the car, and it looks badass. So next thing I've got to do is move on to final welding. Weld everything 100% into place. Now you might be thinking, maybe you caught on to it in the last episode or you noticed in this episode, how exactly am I going to weld in all these tight little spots in between the roof and the cage that I can't exactly get into with my welder? And what most people do, and what I was originally going to do, is after you get the main hoop tacked into place, the A-pillar bars tacked in, and all your roof support bars all tacked in, what you would do is drill 4 holes in the floor, drop the roll cage down, make all the necessary welds in the tight areas up here, bring the cage back up, reposition it to its original location. At that point, you would weld the holes in the floor back shut and put the rest of the cage together.
But I'm not doing that anymore because I got a call from a really good friend of mine who gave me a way better idea. And that idea requires me to rip off the factory sheet metal roof. And once that roof's gone, I've got to replace it. And what am I going to replace it with? A brand new carbon fiber Kevlar roof panel. And you can tell this is pretty light by how effortlessly I'm lifting it. So my buddy James is actually producing these roof panels for all 02 to 07 Subaru Impreza GD chassis cars. This was actually one of his first prototype roofs. I'll drop a link down below in the description if you guys are interested in buying one. He's actually selling them for a really good price, probably one of the best prices anywhere on the internet right now. I'm so thankful that he hooked me up with this roof for the car. This is going to be an awesome addition to the project. And any carbon fiber roof is super beneficial to any car. Not only do you save a bunch of weight removing the factory sheet metal roof from the car, but more importantly, you lower the car's center of gravity, taking all that weight off the very top of the car. But because I'm also installing this roll cage at the same time, it saves me that time of not having to drill those 4 holes in the floor and deal with moving the cage around and all that. So it saves me that time. Also, when it comes to paint, I'm not going to have to paint the underside of the factory roof anymore. So it's going to save me on material. And also when I go to spray the top of the cage, now I know I'm going to have full coverage. I'm not going to miss any spots because the roof won't be in my way when it comes to painting. So super beneficial. The pros outweigh the cons 100 to 1. Can't wait to get that installed. Only thing left I have to do to that roof now is cut out the hole for the Spec C roof end, because that's definitely going back in the car. But on that note, I hope you guys liked the video. Drop a comment down below if you have any questions, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. So on that note, thanks again guys for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.